Hello and welcome to the PPC Open Office Radio Plus talk show. It's December 9th at noon on the Eastern Coast. If you're joining me live, as always, please feel free to click the Ask a Question button underneath my fabulous picture. I'm glad that you're here with me again. It's been fun doing this. I have gotten plenty of questions submitted to me and by those people I run into during my week in, week out work. Today I have one lined up, and as always, I'm open to anybody's question as we go along. So I'll just let you know a little bit about me and how we're doing here. I am Chris Cahill. I work at Web Vitality. We are at webvitality.net. You can follow this show at Open Office Hour, or we have at Web Vitality MKTG, and I am Suburb Dad Chris personally. That's who I am. And you can ask a question now or by emailing me. I'll have my email address at the end, sorry. And we can probably get going with what I had planned, which was a submitted question, which is really more of a comment that I get more times than not, that I'm gonna basically lay out why these people aren't necessarily right on point. And we have two symbols on the screen right now. One is the negative sign. I'm trying to remind you of negative keywords, which is one of the focal points of this conversation, and then what I call the magic button, which is one very, very important button inside of the AdWords campaign. I'm going to show you where that button is and tell you what that does for you and why that's important. It's known as the search terms button, but it does what it does and how it interacts with your life especially as a business owner are very, very important. But people always say, I tried AdWords and it didn't work, or my buddy tried AdWords and it doesn't work, or I'm trying it now and I don't know if it's working and I'm about ready to cancel it. Those are people that are usually just pleading for help because they see the credit card statement every month and they know they're paying for it. It may be working, their website's working, but that doesn't necessarily mean the AdWords are working. A lot of the companies that we help have a pretty decent organic traffic flow. They've spent decades building a brand. They have trucks on the road. They have all sorts of things going on, but they haven't tracked their advertising or their marketing efforts to know what's working, what's not. They'd hate to turn off AdWords, but they don't know what impact that would have. We actually have a client right now that we proved to them the value of our service was in fact that they should turn off their AdWords, that it was their business and the way that they're set up within that competitive ecosphere wasn't paying off. But they didn't know that until we got in and started helping them out with it. So let's start with the I tried it and it didn't work crowd, but it's basically applies to anybody that doesn't know really what's going on. You know, why isn't it working? Well, there's a few reasons. Google wouldn't necessarily like it to be expressed this way, but the system is rigged against you. If you went in with your website and you said, I want to start AdWords for the first time, quite frankly, the process they take you through to set up your first account is absolutely rigged for you not to succeed. It is rigged to put more money into Google's pockets. It's rigged to basically disperse search traffic that doesn't have a market into your expense column. And I'll give you some examples of that, but just weird searches. Not every search is meant to have ads. Somebody just wants to know something, but if there's somebody out there with a very leaky ad campaign that they can apply an ad to, they'll put it there. The odds are it's going to be the only ad there. The odds are that it's on top, it's going to get clicked, and therefore there's revenue. For Google, there's an expense to you as the advertiser. The clicker goes right back to the site, goes to the organic results, and gets exactly what it wanted. So Google somehow knows that the first organic search is most likely exactly what you wanted. You know, if you go to that I feel lucky button, more times than not, Google knows what you're looking for. But somehow this ad for a unrelated product or a poorly set up campaign shows up in your traffic. You click on it, Google gets paid, everybody wins except you, the advertiser. The simple setup or the setup wizard just sets up this incredibly porous sieve that the water at the top, meaning the traffic and your money, just leaks right out. And one of the reasons is you put in your domain name and they go in and they search for the keywords and they set up the keywords for you. They make it really easy. Just accept, just keep going, continue to the billing information. Those keywords are often not set up. You didn't write your website to be used as a keyword. And not only that, but they extend it even more. I've used this example, but a friend of mine owns a cleaning business. And when we went in to look at how Google would interpret his cleaning business, he cleans for offices. He cleans for businesses. Google took cleaning service for business and expanded that into the made for your home operations, right? So I'm a facility manager. I'm searching for a cleaning service for my business, and I type in cleaning services in our town of San Diego. Oh, something happened here. Oh, I think it's working. I'm not sure. If something, and all of a sudden my search is showing up for people looking for a maid referral service for my condo, right, which is a business I'm not even in. And if somebody clicked on it, I'm going to get paid. That's a waste of my money. The other piece is Google's keywords can be interpreted different ways. There's 4 types of matching. The broadest, being broad, allows an incredible amount of leeway in Google's expression or impressions of your ad. You will end up in places that in no way or circumstance did you intend to be. So it's not random. There is an order to it, but it's definitely not where you intended to be. So if you think of like go back to the prehistoric Yellow Pages scenario, all of a sudden your ad for a cleaning service is showing up in a totally opposite place, where the word clean is just part of it. You know, cleaning a computer or wiping a computer. Wiping clean a computer. All of a sudden, my business cleaning service shows up there. That makes no sense. And then any suggestions that Google gives you along the way only serve to make this worse. They say, hey, we found more keywords. There's more traffic you can buy. If you spend just a little bit more, you get more clicks. So it's always encouraging Google's top line and your expenses without necessarily following through on the results. To do this properly, it just requires constant upkeep and diligence, not to mention a lot of expertise that you can either build yourself by watching hundreds of hours of videos or trust somebody like us at Web Vitality or other professionals that know what they're doing. What I can tell you is there's professionals out there that claim to know what they're doing that are just sort of dabbling in this, and we pick up a lot of campaigns that have been paid to be run that aren't doing much better than the people could do themselves if they watched a few videos. It's really complex, and it's not by accident. So again, I've touched on the keyword thing, but we have a lot of clients in the shredding business. Most of them are in the shredding of paper business, right here, security business. But if you typed in shredding, you could be looking for shredded cheese. I used my own camera here and took my little selfie. Yes, that's not me. Shredded Abs by Jillian Michaels. You could be shredding the slopes. You could be shredding a guitar. You could be doing anything. Most of these other folks are not advertising under the word shredding. So when you type in shredding, you mostly get paper shredding. But that isn't necessarily the case if people are typing in shredded cheese or shredded other things. The ads for shredding could still show up. So if I'm looking for a shredded cheese recipe or a shredding cheese recipe, if I mistype it, I could very well see shredding of paper ad, which makes no sense. If I click it, especially on a mobile device where I didn't even intend to click it, the company is getting billed, Google's getting paid, the confusion ensues. So how do you avoid this? How does it happen? The key to this whole process is what's known as negative keywords. So having a great list of negative keywords, words that could possibly be connected to what you're trying to achieve, is the key to this process. You enter these into either enter them on their own against the campaign, or you can create a master list, which is a really great way to do it. But still, you're going to start with, this person's got a list of 25 going in this little bucket list picture that I grabbed. But if you sit down with any business, there are a number of things that you don't want. So if you put yourself in the shoes of the potential searcher, there are people that may actually become a client of yours, but they're not yet ready or yet at the point in the cycle that it makes sense for you to want to advertise to them. Somebody that might be doing, review of local restaurants is probably going to eat out tonight, but they might not, right? How about a review of places to work in the technology business? They're looking for people. They're looking for places to work, not to buy the product, right? Tech sector jobs, right? That might be a great place for a job site. But if you're but if you're a tech company, you don't want your ad there. You're not selling to those people. Another one is how to build a fence, how to start a cleaning business, right? Why would my guy that has a cleaning business want to pay to communicate with somebody who wants to start a cleaning business? If nothing else, you want to protect yourself from them because they're going to steal your good ideas or whatever, become your competitor. But how-tos are a great thing to avoid in your negatives. In addition to, in the previous slide, the cheese and the slopes and the guitar and the abs and all the other stuff. There are also avenues of ways that you deliver your service that you may be very, very much in support of, but you don't want to pay to have people know about it if you give your service away. Guitar lessons, if you're giving guitar lessons, you want to be paid to give guitar lessons. So if somebody's searching for free guitar lessons, you don't want to show up unless you have a video community of some sorts that drives business to your main source of revenue. But you wouldn't pay as much for someone who entered free guitar lessons as you would for regular guitar lessons. So the word free could be on your keyword list. If you have seminars that you don't charge for or whatever, in addition to what you're doing, you don't want to pay to have people know about those. You take your chances with some free and organic SEO work, so it's worth putting on the web and promoting and whatnot. But buying an ad for is a whole nother bag of worms. So using negative keywords is the key. That we can talk about that for hours. But the key to this, and 11 minutes into it, is, as I promised, the magic button of common sense within the Google AdWords campaign. This is a report. It's a display that can be downloaded, which is what this button is here. This is the download button. So if somebody that's running your campaign for you, even if they don't know what they're doing, you're pointing them to that button, and you will get the answers. This is the trust your gut report in a lack of better words. But what this does, if it's kind of buried, so I've given you the way to get there. So you have the keywords tab. This is inside of AdWords. The keywords tab opens up a secondary area where you have keywords, negative keywords, where you can see which ones you have, and then search terms. So you're clicking right here. This button gives you the text that was entered in by the users that ended up in your ads being shown and clicked. So you will know, and how much you paid for it, and on average what position it was in. And if you do it in a narrow enough range, it's basically the position it was in. So you'll see that somebody that Google basically leaked your campaign into, what they put in, it's the best source for negative keywords, short of your own industry knowledge that you sort of input at the very beginning. Right, so you go in, you put your master list of all the things you thought of, and then I guarantee you every week you come back, if there's some traffic, every week that you come back there's more to add, because people's creativity is endless. Google's ability to sort of stretch your intent is endless, and they match those two together. It doesn't have geography, those types of things built into the base search term, but there is ways to do that. But you're going to look at that search term, and you yourself, the owner, the person responsible for the business, needs to look at this report and go, what is it that this person was doing? Is that a market we're in? Was that worth paying for at all? And if it was, how much was it worth paying for? And if it was worth paying for but not as much, then you need to set up new ad groups and potentially even new campaigns that have those AdWords as something you're bidding on at a much lower level, and these same AdWords as a negative keyword for the other campaign. So for example, if you wanted to tell somebody you were doing something for free, a free shredding day, but you only wanted to pay $1, you'd have free shredding day as the keyword in it with $1 bid under one ad group or one campaign, and then you'd take free shredding day completely out of the bigger picture, the broader shredding campaign. So there's definitely ways to do both, but at a very minimum, you need to know what's going on, what's being searched, and how much you're paying. And this button does that. This button, and downloading this, if you're not into AdWords, you're not comfortable with it, you need to get that from your provider, your manager, whoever that is. So the search terms button is the button that every business owner needs to know about. It is the grand reconciler of this process. as an example on my little takeaway screen here, this was a campaign that we were running just as a little test case, and we had AdWords as one of our keywords. So you can see somebody typed in other words for addition. So in my mind, I'm not this person, but I'm thinking that they're looking for a synonym for the word addition. And they typed in other words for addition. If you combine add from addition and words over here, you can make the argument that this matches my search for people looking for AdWords. Now, what I mean by that is people that know the brand Google AdWords and typed in AdWords. Google AdWords is not the same as someone looking for other words for addition. But this was, I forget how much it was, a couple of dollars or something. You see the match type was broad match. So there's really not even a way to go in and effectively or to all the time do this, but you can change the broad match to a narrow or phrase or exact match, and this wouldn't happen. But then you might lose some of the people that a good search would have been, how do I hire somebody to run my AdWords campaign, right? That I want. So I can't make it too narrow, or I cut the noose off. I close all the holes, right? So you're going to do add it. You're going to click here. You're going to add as a negative keyword, and probably use the word addition. Probably maybe take out the word words. But the problem with that is if somebody did add space words, it gets knocked out. So you gotta play with this over time and see what's happening and watch humanity do its thing. But the takeaway to this is it's a $66 billion business last year for Google, and it does work for a lot of people. A lot of people are getting great results out of AdWords. I don't want the takeaway to be that AdWords doesn't work, because it does. It just is a very dangerous tool and a very dangerous way to spend your money if you're not paying attention. I have recorded other things that say the AdWords is the replacement of a lot of the work that a salesperson does. That's a whole nother segment, but people will say now that 90% of the selling process has been done now when somebody goes and searches AdWords for a place to buy. They've done the research, they know what they want, they know who the competitors are, they probably know how much it costs, all those things. So you want to be there. You want to be there when they do that search, and you want to have a great ad, and it does work if you pay the proper amount. The proper amount could be $20, $30, $50 if you're in the right space at the right time, the right ad. So it does work, and don't let anybody tell you it doesn't, but it does. But another one is the system is set up to take your money and very, very fast. So if you're not doing this right, you can expect to get no results and spend a lot of money really, really fast. But you can win if you plug your sieve as best you can, or pay people that know how to do it. It requires constant monitoring and updating. So this is not a service that you sort of just pay somebody to take a look at for a week and then go away, because each little hit hurts, right? And you got to have the right balance. You have to check in and see the ways that humanity has changed their behavior, their conversation pattern, whatever it might be. The other thing that you have to keep monitoring is how your competition is working. I've said it before, but this is really a 4-person game, right? You have Google, you have the user, the searcher, and then you have the other people bidding, right? Your competitors. And your competitors may be in your exact business, or they might be in a sort of derivative of the same words. If you're doing storage of things, for example, you are competing with people who are storing digital media or storing photos or storing whatever. Storage devices, the people selling the boxes versus the people with the place to put the box. You're all competing for the word storage. And these rules and the way that people are playing are changing at all times, and you have to stay up to speed on what's going on and know what your place is. So your $12 bid may have been good enough for first place last week or last month. Now you're in third place, and that changes the math tremendously. If you're trying to grow your business, you have to look at what does it cost to be in the first place, and keep upping the bid, or and in addition, take a look at where your money is being spent and try to stop the waste as much as you can. But again, the magic button is, I'll go back just so you see it one more time. The magic button is this guy right here, the search terms button. I've screen scraped a little bit over here. You can to the far right, you can change the date range that you want. You can do it in the ad groups and the campaigns, however you'd like to do, but you need to know that information. And if you're paying anyone to run your campaign, you need to see that, because this is the, like I said, gut check scorecard of how well things are going. Any business owner can figure out how this works, or if it's working for them, by putting themselves in the commonplace shoes of the person that typed it. Again, I will be here every Wednesday, noon Eastern time. If you have a question and you don't have time to come in, or you're in a different time zone, some of the people that have asked questions have been in different continents, so they don't want to wait until the night to hear this, but they're glad we're recording it. As always, I'm at chris@webvitality.net. If you need private help, we do offer strategic and technical consulting services and monthly packages for approved applicants who match our way of doing things. But again, it's been my pleasure to share this information with you, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye-bye.